The Perfectionism Trap: Why you sabotage success right before you get it. You're not scared of failure, you're scared of what happens if it actually works. That's why you tighten every screw, then ghost the final step. The draft sits, the launch stalls. The tiny fix becomes a total rewrite. You call it standards, your brain calls it safety. In the next few minutes, I'll show you why perfectionism spikes right before the finish line and how your nervous system quietly prioritizes avoidance over completion. Then I'll teach you a simple, brain-based way to close loops fast, without lowering quality, so you can finish more, stress less, and actually ship your best work. The trap: why perfectionism hits hardest near the finish. Let's name the pattern. You make solid progress, momentum builds, and then bam, you slow down, second guess, refine, and reopen decisions you already made. You add 3 new tabs, tweak fonts for an hour, and convince yourself, I just need one more pass. You don't abandon the project, you keep touching it. That's not laziness. That's a protection reflex. Here's the thing most people miss. Finishing changes your state. The moment you ship, your work leaves your control and enters the world of feedback, judgment, and consequences. Your brain tags that as potential threat. So even when you know the task is good enough, your nervous system quietly flips from approach to avoid. And the closer you are to done, the louder that shift feels. This clicked for me when I learned how the prefrontal cortex and the survival circuits divide labor. Starting is a prefrontal job. Plan the steps, set the scene, begin. Finishing requires you to mark the sequence complete, release control, and face uncertainty. When uncertainty rises, deeper systems step in. The basal ganglia loves routines and keeps you moving through familiar loops. But the moment the loop ends with exposure, publish, submit, send, the amygdala votes hold. Your attention narrows, perfection urges spike, and tiny flaws suddenly look huge. Not because they are, but because not done yet feels safer than done and visible. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to out-argue biology with willpower. You tell yourself, just push through. But your working memory is already saturated, and every micro-week fragments it further. As Dr. Tracy Marks explains, when working memory drops the closure step, you get open loops that feel unresolved. You started the turn of the knob, you never finished it. In projects, that looks like 5 half-closed tasks. Title changed, thumbnail updated, description draft started, but no hard done. Open loops create anxiety. Anxiety fuels more checking. Checking masquerades as quality control. This is attention fragmentation in action. Task switching drains focus, and the brain never encodes completion. Before we continue, you need to understand the dopamine staircase. Motivation isn't a precondition for action, it's produced by action. Early steps are cheap dopamine: plan, gather, polish. Late steps demand courage dopamine: decide, publish, submit. If you jump from cheap to courage in one move, your limbic system balks. Therefore, perfectionism near the finish isn't about taste, it's about avoiding a steep dopamine climb without rungs. There's another layer: learning history. If you grew up where approval was conditional, perfect equaled safe. Praise came after spotless results, criticism after small errors. Over time, your system wires incomplete but improving as safer than complete and judged. Irene Lyon calls this fleeing from health. The state you've never lived in feels threatening, even if it's good. So the body prefers the familiar tension of almost done to the unfamiliar relief of done. That's safety conditioning, not personality. Your nervous system was trained to associate exposure with danger. And there's the social piece. Finishing collapses possibility into reality. As long as it's pending, it can still be brilliant. Once it's out, it can disappoint. Perfectionism protects identity by keeping the work idealized. It's a clever trap. Endless refinement lets you avoid the one data point that matters, real-world response, while preserving the story that you could nail it if you really tried. Let me show you exactly how this plays out. You're editing a video. 90% is locked. You need a title, thumbnail, and export. Suddenly, you feel an urge to audit the entire A-roll for tone. That urge isn't about tone. It's your nervous system trying to step away from the irreversible click. So you create work that looks like progress but delays exposure. That's why you feel busy and stuck at the same time. Once you see it, everything else clicks. Perfectionism near the end is a state shift from creation to evaluation. Creation is private. Evaluation is social. The brain's threat systems are social first. That's why your best ideas show up in the draft and vanish at publish time. Your body is managing perceived risk, not truth. Now the game changer nobody talks about is this: you don't have to lower standards to finish. You have to separate quality from closure. Quality is achieved in bounded passes with explicit criteria. Closure is achieved with a physical sensory marker that tells your brain this loop is done. Dr. Mark's sensory anchors are brilliant here. Say out loud, title locked, touch the title field, and move the cursor to the next field. It sounds too simple. It works because it recruits language, motor, and visual systems to encode completion. And if you remember nothing else, remember this: ambiguity is the oxygen of perfectionism. The more vague you're done, the longer your brain will keep you in safety mode. Define done before you start the final pass. One pass for clarity, one for accuracy, one for presentation. No scavenger hunting, no new scope. Each pass has a name, a checklist, and a clear stop. Quick micro story: a client kept rewriting blog conclusions for days. We added one rule: write the last sentence first, read it aloud, point to it, and say, "This is the promise." Then finish the post to fulfill that promise. Finishing time dropped by 70%. Same standards, fewer open loops. So, why does perfectionism hit hardest near the finish? Because finishing turns private effort into public uncertainty, and your nervous system is built to avoid uncertain social outcomes. It gives you convincing urges: check again, add one more example, change the color, that feel like craftsmanship but function like delay. Your job isn't to argue with those urges. It's to give your brain a safer path to closure with smaller rungs, clear boundaries, and concrete signals that tell your system, "We did it, and we're safe." The brain's avoidance engine: threat over completion. Let me back up and show you the engine under the hood. Your brain runs two overlapping systems when you work: an approach system that plans and executes, and a protection system that scans for threat. Both are useful. The problem is priority. When they conflict, protection usually wins. Not because you're weak, but because your biology evolved to keep you alive first and productive second. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Completion is a cognitive event, but avoidance is a survival reflex. The prefrontal cortex sequences steps, holds the checklist, and says, "We're on step 4 of 5. That feels rational and calm. But the protective network, amygdala, anterior insula, periaqueductal gray, the whole threat orchestra, monitors uncertainty, exposure, and social risk. As soon as finishing equals possible rejection, the protection system escalates and starts reallocating resources. Attention narrows. Your heart rate subtly ticks up. Working memory gets noisy. You experience that as, "I should check one more thing." The reason this works so reliably is the way your working memory encodes tasks. It's built to hold tiny chunks in the foreground for a short time. When you start a sequence, draft, edit, title, each chunk hops into the spotlight and hops out. If nothing deliberately marks the handoff as complete, your brain leaves the loop open. Open loops feel like small, unresolved threats. That's why you can't stop thinking about a half-sent email or a half-locked door. Dr. Tracy Marks talks about anchoring completion with multisensory cues, voice plus gesture, to help the brain register done. Without that anchor, your protective circuits keep pinging you. "Are we sure?" That ping masquerades as perfection. Now here's where most people mess up. They assume more thinking will fix it. But the more you think inside a threat state, the more you fuel it. Cognition becomes reassurance-seeking, rereading, resorting, relabeling. Meanwhile, the basal ganglia prefers stable loops. If your last-mile routine is tweak, reopen, delay, that becomes the groove it automates. So at 90% done, your autopilot doesn't steer you to publish. It steers you back into familiar delay actions that feel productive and safe. You've trained safety to mean not finished. Why would your brain do this? Because of cost prediction. The limbic system doesn't evaluate truth, it evaluates potential loss. Finishing creates exposure to criticism, comparison, or change in status. Even positive change is arousing if your nervous system equates novelty with danger. Irene Lyon calls it fleeing from health. The regulated state feels foreign, so the body prefers the noise it knows. If your history wired praise to perfect and shame to flawed, the threat calculator learns one strategy. Keep the work in limbo, signal diligence, avoid verdicts. Let me make it concrete. You record a clean take. Objectively, it's fine. As you scrub the timeline, your insula flags a tiny vocal wobble. That interoceptive jolt isn't evidence of a bad take, it's your body noticing uncertainty. The amygdala tags it as possible social threat, pushes a little cortisol, and your attention locks onto microimperfections. You respond by opening a new audio plugin, then another. Each tweak soothes the jolt for a moment by giving your hands something to do. But notice the loop: jolt, tweak, tiny relief, new jolt, no closure. After an hour, you're exhausted and you decide to export tomorrow. That felt like a choice. It was a reflex. So how do we turn the engine? 2 levers: reduce perceived threat and increase clarity of closure. Reducing perceived threat is not telling yourself, no one cares, or just get over it. Your protective circuits don't speak in logic, they speak in signals. You neutralize threat with predictability and embodied markers. Predictability means fixed last-mile rituals, the same 3 checks, in the same order, every time. That gives your basal ganglia a safe groove to automate. Embodied markers mean you lay your senses on the closure step: voice, touch, visual confirmation. Point, name the state, move on. It tells the survival system, this environment is controlled. Increasing clarity of closure means predefining finish lines that don't move. Quality lives inside named passes. Anything outside the pass is scope creep. You do make it perfect. You complete the clarity pass, then complete the accuracy pass, then complete the presentation pass. After each, you encode completion on purpose. Say it, tap it, log it. Those tiny rituals aren't cute, they're memory consolidation for task offloading. They free working memory, drop arousal, and starve the avoidance loop of ambiguity. One more piece: movement triggers dopamine. Dr. Sid Warrior points out that motivation follows action. Use that. If you feel the freeze at 95%, don't negotiate with it. Stand, shake out your hands, take 3 deliberate breaths, and perform your shutdown ritual. That micro-movement nudges you up the dopamine staircase so the next rung, clicking publish, doesn't feel like a cliff. Action right arrow motivation is the loop that breaks procrastination. Protection over completion is the default. You don't remove it, you root around it. Smaller rungs, safer rituals, clearer lines, embodied closure. That's how you finish without fighting your brain. The 3 hidden drivers of self-sabotage. Let's pull the mask off the 3 forces that quietly steer you off the finish line even when you want to win: safety conditioning, control addiction, and identity insurance. Once you can name the driver, you can counter it with the right tool instead of fighting fog. First, safety conditioning. This is nervous system learning, not personality. If your history paired approval with flawless output or punishment with small errors, your body learned that done equals danger and still working equals safe. That wiring lives below thought. You feel it as a subtle rise in tension the moment a task becomes real. Slight chest constriction, a flutter in the gut, the impulse to double-check. That's your interoceptive alarm, the anterior insula flagging uncertainty, and the amygdala tagging it as social risk. Irene Lyon calls the reflex to turn away from good outcomes, fleeing from health. Not because health is bad, but because it's unfamiliar. Your system prefers the tight, known discomfort of almost finished to the open, unknown calm of finished. The quick fix most people try is positive self-talk. But if your biology is in protective mode, affirmation feels like a mismatch. What works is stacking safety cues into the last mile. Predictable sequences, small moves, sensory anchors. You're not convincing yourself. You're teaching your threat system that closure is a controlled environment. Second, control addiction. Perfectionism isn't just high standards. It's an attempt to regulate anxiety through total control. While you're editing, you control every pixel. The moment you ship, control ends and feedback begins. To avoid that drop, you widen the work. More research, more options, more passes. It feels like diligence. It's actually an anxiety management strategy. The basal ganglia, which automates routines, learns your last mile pattern. When exposure nears, expand the task. So final polish becomes an endless loop your autopilot reproduces. Control addiction shows up as scope creep, endless option generation, and chasing certainty that doesn't exist. The antidote is constraint on purpose. You set non-negotiable gates, 3 named passes, 2 decision points, 1 export. Decisions live inside those gates only. Outside them, it's noise. And you ritualize release, point, name the decision out loud, and touch the next control. Dr. Tracy Marks' point and confirm technique gives you a tangible end to the action, which your brain can encode. You aren't letting go blindly. You're handing off with markers your nervous system trusts. Third, identity insurance. As long as the work is unfinished, your self-story stays intact. I'm brilliant, this just isn't ready. Publishing collapses fantasy into feedback. That threatens identity, especially for high achievers whose worth got fused with output early on. The mind protects the self by preserving potential. Keep it in draft, keep me ideal. You'll notice identity insurance when your edits shift from objective to self-referential. Does this make me look smart? What if they think I don't know enough? The project stops being about the audience and becomes about you. That's a signal, not a failing. The fix is to relocate meaning from impression to impact. Before final pass, write one sentence. This work exists to help X do Y by Z, read it aloud. Now grade only against that. Does the output help the user do the promised thing? If yes, your job is to ship the help, not sculpt the image. A tiny story, a designer I coached spent hours polishing micro animations no user noticed. We anchored identity to outcome, reduced time to first click by 20%, and created a ship by checklist. She still cared about craft, but her self-worth was tied to the user's win, not her aesthetic. Shipping got easier because who I am wasn't on the line. Now these drivers stack. Safety conditioning primes your body to avoid exposure. Control addiction gives you a respectable escape hatch, work more. Identity insurance supplies the justification, this isn't me yet. When all three fire, you get high-effort stalling that feels virtuous. Breaking the stack means targeting each layer with the right lever. For safety, use embodied closure, voice, gesture, fixed rituals. For control, use constraint, named passes, decision gates, time-boxed sprints. For identity, use purpose anchors. Outcome sentences, user tests, impact metrics. Here's the checkpoint moment. If you remember nothing else, remember the triangle: safety, control, identity. Ask, which corner is loud right now? If your body feels hot and buzzy, it's safety, run your shutdown ritual. If you're multiplying options, it's control, return to the pass and gate. If you're narrating how you'll be judged, it's identity, read the promised sentence and measure impact only. One more quick win you can try today. Pick one small task that's 80% done. Write the promised sentence. Set a 3-step pass: clarity, accuracy, presentation. After each step, speak the state, point to the work, and log it. Then ship within a 20-minute window. Expect a spike of sensation at minute 18, that's safety protesting. Don't argue. Stand, exhale, point, click. When the loop closes, notice the drop in background noise. That's your system learning a new association. Finished is safe. Repeat that loop 3 times this week, and you'll feel the triangle loosen. The work didn't get easier. Your brain finally got better instructions. The 80% rule, redefining good enough to win. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. Your work doesn't need to be perfect to be powerful. It needs to be complete and truthful to its promise. The 80% rule is how pros do that on repeat. It says, aim to reach a clearly defined 80% of the promised outcome fast, lock it, and ship, then iterate with real data. It isn't laziness. It's how you root around the brain's avoidance engine without lowering standards. Why it works: 2 reasons. First, ambiguity fuels perfectionism. When done is vague, your brain keeps you looping for safety. The 80% rule kills ambiguity by forcing a measurable promise up front. Help X do Y by Z. Second, the basal ganglia loves stable loops. If your last mile always ends with a clean 80% lock and versioning plan, your autopilot learns to finish. You're not settling, you're sequencing excellence over time. What counts as 80%? It's not a vibe, it's criteria. Define 3 pass outcomes before you start your final mile and keep them on one screen to avoid attention fragmentation. Clarity is the message instantly understandable to the intended user. Accuracy are the facts, steps, and constraints correct enough to prevent harm or confusion. Presentation is it clean and consistent enough that the user will actually engage? If all 3 are met to the level that delivers the promised outcome for most users, you're at 80%. The remaining 20% is polish, edge case coverage, and optimization. Great to add, but not required for value. That 20% belongs in version 1.1, not in purgatory. Now here's where most people mess up. They try to eyeball 80% in the moment, which invites feelings to run the show. Don't do that. Pre-commit to thresholds. Example: clarity threshold, A cold reader can summarize the promise in one sentence after skimming. Accuracy threshold, 2 source checks or 1 subject matter confirmation for each critical claim. Presentation threshold, 1 style guide, 3 formatting checks, 0 new fonts. You run the passes, hit those thresholds, and then you close the loop with sensory anchors. Say, clarity locked, point to the headline, and move your cursor to the next checklist. Dr. Tracy Mark's point and confirm method isn't a gimmick. It tells your threat system, we're safe to proceed. Okay, so the tricky part is the voice in your head that says, yeah, but this could be better. Of course it could. That's not the question. The question is, does this deliver the promised user outcome right now? If yes, finishing is the professional move. Pros don't hoard value for polish. They deliver value, then polish with feedback. Let me show you exactly how to use the 80% rule on something real. Say you're shipping a tutorial video. Your promise: teach beginners to set up a distraction-free shutdown ritual in 10 minutes. Define passes. Clarity pass. Cut jargon, add on-screen labels for the 5 steps, 1 sentence per step. Accuracy pass. Cite Dr. Mark's multisensory anchors, reference Dr. Sid Warrior's action creates motivation, verify wording matches your sources. Presentation pass. Consistent lower thirds, balanced audio, thumbnail that states, finish what you start. You run each pass once, hit the thresholds, and then you ship with a version note. V1, core method. V11, add ADHD example and printable checklist. That's how you respect both quality and momentum. The reason this works is simple neuroscience. Working memory is fragile. The longer you hold maybe in your head, the more your threat system pings you to keep checking. The 80% rule shortens dwell time in maybe. It gives your brain an earlier, reliable closure point, which frees cognitive load and drops arousal. That calm isn't laziness, it's capacity you get back for the next thing. Common objections handled quickly, but my field demands precision. Great, set your accuracy threshold accordingly. The 80% is relative to your domain's safety and quality bar. It's not a universal number, it's a commitment to ship once the promised outcome is reliably achieved. But my reputation is on the line. Exactly. Reputation compounds faster with a steady stream of useful, improving work than with one perfect ghost. What if I regret shipping? You'll regret stalling more. Version control exists. Use it. Now, a quick win you can try today. Pick one stalled piece that's at 70-90%. Write the promise sentence at the top. Define 3 pass thresholds in under 2 minutes. Run the passes with a 20-minute timer. After each pass, speak the lock, point at the artifact, and check it off. At the end, stand up, exhale, name the version, and publish. Expect a spike of sensation. Don't negotiate. Anchor, click, step away. Then write one note for V11 and schedule it. This clicked for a client who sat on a landing page for 6 weeks. We set a clarity threshold. Can a friend explain it back in 10 seconds? An accuracy threshold, 2 user benefits, 1 case stat we can verify, and a presentation threshold, 1 layout, 1 font. She shipped in 45 minutes, booked calls the same day, and iterated the headline in V11. Same standards, fewer open loops. If you remember nothing else, remember this: 80% on time beats 100% never. Define the promise, set the thresholds, run bounded passes, encode closure, version forward. That's how you finish without fighting your brain, and how your brain learns that finished is safe. The minimum viable output, MVO Playbook. Here's the shortcut nobody teaches. You don't beat perfectionism by lowering the bar, you beat it by locking a smaller, clearly defined deliverable that proves value fast and keeps your nervous system calm. That's minimum viable output, not a rough draft, not sloppy. It's the smallest complete version of your promise that a real user can benefit from today. Why this works? Your brain tolerates small closures far better than one giant, high-stakes finish. MVO splits done into a staircase of safe rungs. Each rung gets the same quality attention, but inside tight boundaries, with hard locks that free working memory and quiet the threat system. The MVO playbook has 5 parts. Run them in order, no freelancing. Part 1, the promise sentence. 1 line out loud. This piece helps X do Y by Z, that's your North Star and your finish line. If your sentence is vague, your project will be vague and perfectionism will feast on the ambiguity. Keep it in view, top of the doc, First slide, sticky on your monitor. Part 2, the success slice. What's the smallest artifact that delivers the promise? Not an outline about it, the thing itself. If your promise is help new editors create a shutdown ritual, the MVO is a one-page checklist with 5 steps, not a 30-minute course. If your promise is help a dev fix a deploy bug, the MVO is a 3-line snippet and a note, not a white paper. State the artifact explicitly. MVO equals one-page checklist PDF, or MVO equals 3-minute demo. Part 3, the 3 passes. Clarity, accuracy, presentation, once each in that order. Each pass has a tiny checklist and a lock ritual to encode completion, voice plus gesture, per Dr. Tracy Marks. Clarity, delete jargon, front-load the outcome, make steps scannable. Lock ritual, read the headline aloud, point to it and say, clarity locked. Accuracy, verify claims, test steps once, cite sources. Lock ritual, tap each verified item, say, accuracy locked, and move your cursor to the next field. Presentation, consistent formatting, legible typography, export settings. Lock ritual, zoom out, scan edges, say, presentation locked, and save the final. These locks aren't cute. They recruit language, motor, and visual systems, so your brain encodes completion and stops reopening the pass. Part 4, the 20-minute window. Give your nervous system a predictable finish arc. Set a 20-minute timer for the last mile, run the 3 passes, perform the locks, export, publish. Expect a spike around minute 18. Stand, shake your hands, exhale, point, click. You're training your body that closure is brief, patterned, and safe. Part 5, version forward. Write the future before you ship. V11 adds pro tips. V12 adds ADHD example. Versioning protects quality without dragging it into today. It also tells the control system, we're not abandoning refinement, we're sequencing it. Let me show you exactly how it looks. Say you're releasing a finish what you start mini tutorial. Promise sentence. Help busy creators finish tasks by using a 5-step shutdown ritual in 10 minutes. Success slice. MVO equals 3-minute video plus 1-page checklist. Clarity pass. Cold open states payoff. Each step labeled on screen, 1 sentence per step. Lock ritual. Read the promise aloud, point to the on-screen title, clarity locked. Accuracy pass. Reference Dr. Tracy Marks, sensory anchors, and Dr. Sid Warrior's action creates motivation. Test gesture plus voice on a live task. Confirm phrasing matches your sources. Lock ritual, tap citations, accuracy locked. Presentation pass, balanced audio, consistent lower thirds, simple thumbnail. Finish what you start. Lock ritual, scan edges at 50% zoom, presentation locked. 20-minute window, timer on, run passes, export, upload, publish. At minute 18, feel the surge, stand, exhale, point, click. Version forward. V11, add kitchen example. V12, add printable. You just shipped an asset that helps someone today, and you preserved room for polish with real feedback. Common traps and fixes. Trap, scope creep disguised as user value. Fix, return to the promise sentence. If the addition doesn't increase the odds that X does Y by Z right now, it goes to V11. Trap, infinite options, which thumbnail? Fix, decision gates. Preset 2 decision points only, after clarity, after presentation. At the gate, pick from 3 options max, lock it, move on. Trap, 1 more check. Fix, the pass ledger. After each lock ritual, add a check mark to a visible ledger. If the box is checked, that pass is sealed today. Trap, identity panic. Fix, audience anchor. Read a real user message, then ask, will this help that person by tonight? If yes, ship the help. Micro story. A team sat on a get started page for 8 weeks. We dropped an MVO. Help a new user complete first task in 3 clicks today. Success slice. 1 page, 1 flow, 1 CTA. 3 passes, 20-minute window, version forward. Shipping unblocked support tickets, and V11 clean the edges with data. If you remember nothing else, remember this: MVO isn't a concession, it's a contract. Promise clear value, deliver the smallest complete slice, lock each pass, ship inside a 20-minute window, and version forward. Do that 3 times a week and your system will relearn that finished is safe, and your output will finally match your talent. The 5-minute reset, when you're spiraling. This is the emergency break for when you're 95% done and your brain starts inventing reasons to delay. You won't outthink that spiral. You'll reset it with signals your nervous system trusts. 5 minutes, 5 moves. Run them in order. No debating. Minute 1, orient and move. Stand up. Turn your head and eyes to find 3 fixed points in the room, left, right, behind you. Name them out loud. Window, lamp, door. Now take 10 seconds to shake your hands and forearms like you're flicking off water. Why this works? You're giving your midbrain a no threat here, signal, and using small movement to kick dopamine up a notch. It drops the urgency just enough to choose your next rung. Minute 2, box breath and anchor. Sit or stand tall. Inhale through your nose for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6, hold for 2. Do 3 cycles. On the last exhale, place a palm on your chest, the other on your desk, and say, here, now, 1 task. That longer exhale nudges your autonomic state down. The touch plus words creates a sensory motor anchor that quiets the noise and signals no immediate threat. Minute 3, name the next micro finish. You're not finishing the project, you're finishing the next pass item. Say it out loud, 1 sentence, starting with a verb. Lock the title. Export the file. Send the email. Then set a 2-minute timer. You've just shrunk the cliff into a rung and made a time box your body can tolerate. Minute 4, point and confirm while you do it. Keep it tactile and verbal. As you click the title field, point and say, title. Type it. Read it once, not twice. Then touch the screen edge or the field border and say, title locked. If you're exporting, point to the preset name, say it, click export, point to the progress bar, exporting, and when it finishes, export locked. This is Dr. Tracy Marks, method adapted to creative work. Pair action with gesture and language so your brain actually encodes completion instead of leaving a loop open. Minute 5, close the loop and root forward. Stand, shake your hands once, and speak the release. This pass is complete. Then do one of 2 things depending on where you are in your process. If this was the final pass, perform your shutdown ritual, read your promise sentence once, point to the publish send button, exhale, click, and say, shipped. If this wasn't final, write 1 line in a visible ledger. Clarity locked, 2:14 p.m., and schedule the next pass by dropping a 2-word calendar entry. Accuracy pass. That ledger entry is your receipt. It tells your future self there's no mystery, and it stops the reflex to reopen what you just closed. Now let me show you exactly how this looks in a real spiral. You're tweaking a thumbnail at 11:48 p.m. You've tried 5 color combos. You feel that buzz in your chest and the thought, I should test 10 more. That's the threat system asking for control. Don't argue. Stand, orient, shelf, chair, door. Shake hands, 3 box breaths, hands on chest and desk. Here, now, 1 task. Name the micro finish, lock background color. 2-minute timer. Point to the swatch, click the brand color you already chose in the style guide, say, color, then color locked. Stand, shake once. This pass is complete. If it's your presentation pass, exhale, export, upload, shipped. If not, ledger the lock and schedule the next pass. You just turned a midnight rabbit hole into a closed loop. Common snags and how to handle them quickly. What if my brain screams that the micro finish is the wrong one? That's safety talking. Use pre-made priority. Your pass order decides the next step, not your feeling. If you're in presentation, you don't jump back to clarity. What if I can't feel my breath slowing? Fine. Keep the cadence, keep the count, keep the touch. You're not chasing calm, you're sending consistent cues. What if I click publish and panic after? That's normal. Stand, orient, shake, and say, version forward, V11 tomorrow. Then step away. Post-publish noise fades faster when you give it a next rung. 2 optional boosts if you have another 30 seconds. Visual anchor. Place a sticky note that says, this helps X do Y by Z today in your peripheral vision. It recenters identity on impact, not image. Environmental anchor. Put a ship token on your desk, a coin, a small stone. When you close a loop, pick it up, say shipped, and place it in a small dish. Your brain loves visible counters. If you remember nothing else about the 5-minute reset, remember the sequence. Move and orient, breathe and anchor, name 1 micro finish. Point and confirm, lock and root forward. You're not calming your way to courage. You're giving your nervous system a patterned path through the last mile so finishing stops feeling like a cliff and starts feeling like a step. The finished ritual, reward completion, not perfection. Perfectionism trains your brain to crave the high of polishing. we're going to retrain it to crave the click of completion. That's what the finished ritual does. It's a tiny, repeatable sequence that rewards loop closed every single time, so your nervous system starts to prefer done over endless better. Here's the idea. Your brain releases dopamine not just for outcomes, but for cues and routines tied to outcomes. If your routine has always been tweak, doubt, delay, that's the loop your basal ganglia will automate. The finished ritual replaces that loop with a controllable, multisensory finish sequence. You'll pair a clear signal, a physical action, and a small reward right after the closure event. Do it consistently, and finishing becomes the most rewarding part of the process. The structure is simple, 4 beats: signal, seal, celebrate, reset. Signal is the audible cue that tells your brain, this is the finish moment. Use the same short phrase every time. Keep it boring and specific so it doesn't drift. Say, loop closed, or pass complete. Speak it out loud. Language matters because it recruits your left hemisphere systems to mark the state. If you work with others around, whisper, it still counts. Seal is the physical anchor. Pair the words with one consistent gesture that touches the work. If it's digital, point to the final artifact on the screen and tap the desk once. If it's physical, put your hand flat on the page or prototype. Then perform one small movement that ends the action. Move the cursor from the canvas to your checklist and check the box, or cap the pen and place it in a holder. This tells your sensory motor system, this action has an end. Celebrate is the reward, and it's small by design. You want something immediate, predictable, and healthy that your brain can anticipate. 1 sip of your favorite tea, 1 square of dark chocolate, 1 song chorus standing up, 1 minute in sunlight. Consistency is the key, same reward type, same dose. We're not building a party, we're building a conditioned response. Reset is the transition out. You close the tab or notebook, stand, and take 1 breath with a longer exhale. Then you place a visible token, a coin or bead, into a small dish labeled shipped. This is your counter. The visual stack of tokens becomes your scoreboard, which reduces second-guessing later because you can literally see what's finished. Let me show you exactly how this sounds in practice. You finish the accuracy pass on a client deliverable. You read the last line once, not twice. You point to the footer, tap the desk, and say, pass complete. You check the accuracy box in your pass ledger. You take 1 sip of tea. You stand, exhale longer than you inhale, and drop 1 coin in the dish. Then you either move to the next named pass, or, if this is final, you switch to your shutdown ritual and publish. The whole thing takes under 15 seconds. Now here's where most people mess up. They make the reward too big or too variable. If the reward is a random treat or an open-ended break, you'll start negotiating with yourself, and the ritual will morph into a delay. Keep it tiny and fixed. Also, don't add new steps mid-flight. Your protection system thrives on novelty near the finish. Your ritual needs to be boring enough to be trusted. What about team settings? You can make it social without turning it into ceremony. Use a short Slack emoji code like white checkmark, only when something is shipped, not when it's almost. Or a 2-word update in your channel, loop closed. Pair it with a shared counter, 1 column in your project doc titled shipped this week, where each item is a link, not a screenshot. The act of linking the live artifact is the seal. Try this twist for creative work where final is fuzzy. Use a 2-tier ritual, 1 for pass locks, another for publish. For pass locks, say pass complete, tap, check the ledger, and drop a small token. For publish, say shipped, tap the publish send button, take your celebratory sip, and drop a larger token or a different color. Over a week, you'll see not just activity, but real deliveries. If you're recovering from praise for perfect conditioning, add a purpose line to your ritual. Right after you seal, read your promise sentence. This helps X do Y by Z today. It shifts the hit from I look polished to they get value, which lowers identity pressure and reinforces why closure matters. 2 micro stories. A marketer who dreaded send tied a single espresso bean to publish. Shipped meant tapping the button, saying it out loud, then chewing 1 bean. After a week, her body leaned toward the click because the micro reward was locked to that moment, dopamine cue right arrow action. A developer used a desk token. Every merged pull request got 1 wooden bead into a jar. After 2 sprints, the team stopped arguing about almost ready because the jar told the truth. Set your ritual now. Pick your phrase, your gesture, your reward, and your token. Write them on a sticky note. Run it on your very next loop, no special project needed. The goal isn't to feel hyped. It's to make finishing predictable, embodied, and satisfying in under 15 seconds. Do it 10 times this week. Watch how the urge to one more tweak loses its grip the moment your brain learns that the best feeling happens after you click. Environment design. Make done the default. You don't rise to the level of your intentions, you fall to the level of your setup. If your space, apps, and defaults make it easy to reopen work and hard to ship, you'll keep looping. So we're going to flip your environment into a finish-first system. Think of it as building rails that guide your brain toward closure without needing willpower. Start with your last mile zone. Create a clean, distraction-free space that only gets used for final passes, exports, and sends. One monitor, one app, one checklist visible. No research tabs, no chat windows. When you enter this zone, your nervous system should feel, we close loops here. Put your past ledger on the left, the artifact in the center, and the shutdown ritual card on the right. That layout becomes a spatial cue, left to right equals finish. Next, implement app containment. Your brain can't finish if your tools keep spawning options. For the last mile, use a publish profile in your app with limited panels, no extra plug-ins, and only the presets you've pre-approved. Hide toolbars you don't need. Pin one export preset named V1. If you're writing, switch to a clean page view with spelling and grammar suggestions off until the accuracy pass. The point is to remove affordances that invite tinkering when you're supposed to be locking. Now build a shipping tray. This is a literal tray or a single desktop folder labeled Ready to Finish. Only items at 80-95% go here. The tray lives within arm's reach or at the top of your desktop. When you enter your last mile zone, you choose one item from the tray and you don't touch anything else until it's locked or scheduled. Physically moving an item into the tray is a commitment cue. Your body learns, if it's in the tray, it leaves. Kill the tab hydra with a 2-browser rule. One browser is your build browser with all the research, docs, and references. The other is your ship browser bookmarks only for your publishing destinations and analytics. When you're finishing, you open only the ship browser. If you need information, you write a one-line check later, note in your past ledger, and keep going. Switching browsers becomes the boundary between creating options and making decisions. Rewire decision gates. Create tiny, reusable checklists for your 2 decision points, after clarity and after presentation. Each gate has exactly 3 questions and 1 choice slot. Example, presentation gate. Is the layout consistent? Are contrast and legibility within guide? Does the thumbnail title state the promise? If yes, pick one of 3 thumbnails you prepared earlier, point, say, chosen, and move on. Gate cards live on your desk or as pinned notes. They prevent last-minute research spirals because the choice set is fixed. Use a physical finish clock. Put a small analog timer on your desk. The last mile runs on a 20-minute arc. The clock makes it tangible. Wind it to 20 when you start the final passes. When it dings, you either click publish or you log the next pass and exit the zone. Analog matters. Your eyes don't leave the artifact to check time. Your midbrain and basal ganglia get a predictable end signal, which lowers arousal. Design your desktop like a runway. Left column, pass ledger and promise sentence. Center, artifact. Right column, shutdown ritual and version forward notes. Nothing else. If you need a wild idea, step out of the zone. Don't change the map mid-flight. That consistency is how your basal ganglia automates, enter, lock, ship. Create a shipped wall. Print or list the last 10 shipped artifacts on a visible board with dates. This is not a vanity wall, it's a nervous system stabilizer. When your brain screams, "You never finish," the wall argues with evidence. Each new ship bumps the oldest off. That scarcity pushes you to keep the streak alive and reduces rumination because the scoreboard is public to you. Tame notifications with finish mode. Define one system profile where notifications are fully off, your phone is in another room, and your watch is on airplane mode. Label it finish mode and tie it to a single lamp color or desk light. When the light is blue, nobody interrupts, especially you. That light becomes a social contract with yourself and anyone around you. Finally, stage your shutdown kit. Keep your token dish, your tea or water, and your shipped sticky within reach. These tiny props make the finished ritual frictionless. The fewer steps between "I think it's done" and "loop closed," the less chance your protection system has to invent a detour. None of this is fancy. It's just constraints, cues, and choreography. You're building an environment where the path of least resistance is Pick from the tray, run the 3 passes, hit 2 gates, perform the lock, and ship inside a 20-minute window. Do that often enough and your space will do the heavy lifting, so finishing becomes your default, not your exception. Attention guardrails prevent over-editing and scope creep. Now that you've got your last mile zone and rituals, you need guardrails that keep your attention from leaking. Think of these as bumpers on a bowling lane. They don't throw the ball for you, they stop it from dropping into perfectionist gutters. First guardrail, the 2-question pass test. Before you touch anything, ask out loud, which pass am I in and what's the single outcome of this pass? If you can't answer in one sentence, you don't have a pass, you have a vibe. No vibe editing. Clarity pass means words and structure only. Accuracy pass means facts, steps, and checks only. Presentation pass means visuals, formatting, and export only. When your hand drifts to something outside the pass, say, "Not in this pass," and return to the checklist. That phrase is a small break that stops scope creep at the source. Second guardrail, the 3-touch rule. Any element, headline, color, sentence gets at most 3 deliberate touches per project. Touch 1 is create, touch 2 is refine in the proper pass, touch 3 is commit or cut. After the 3rd touch, you mark it with a tiny, in the margin or a comment, T3, and it's sealed unless a critical accuracy issue appears. This forces you to choose instead of graze. It also gives your basal ganglia a clear end to each micro decision, so it doesn't keep pinging you to reopen the same item. Third guardrail, the decision gate cards. You already set 2 gates after clarity and after presentation. Put the cards in view and stick to 3 options max per gate. If you hit the gate and you don't have 3 options prepped, you must choose from what exists. No opening new tabs, no quick brainstorm. Decision-making thrives on scarcity. Your threat system escalates when options multiply. 3 options is enough to feel agency without inviting delay. Fourth guardrail, the 10% rule for new ideas. Late in the game, your brain will toss brilliant additions that explode scope. You can add up to 10% production time for a high-leverage idea if, and only if, it increases the chance that X does Y by Z today. Speak the promise, gut check the idea against it, then time box the add-on. If it doesn't directly raise the odds of delivering the promise, it goes to V11. This rule satisfies the control system's need for improvement without sacrificing closure. Fifth guardrail, the red flag list. Write 3 phrases that signal you're drifting. What if I just try a totally new layout? Maybe I should research 10 more examples. This needs to be the best thing I've done. When any of those thoughts appear, you don't debate them. You execute your 5-minute reset on the spot. Red flags aren't problems to solve, they're cues to run the protocol. Sixth guardrail, evidence only edits. During the accuracy pass, you're only allowed to change something if you can point to the evidence in the same screen, source citation, test result, or explicit requirement. Feelings don't count here. If you can't point to the evidence right now, leave a cue, note, and move on. This stops rabbit holes and keeps working memory focused on closure cues that Dr. Tracy Marks would call multisensory anchors. Eyes on the artifact, finger to the citation, voice naming the lock. Seventh guardrail, the one-screen finish. For the last mile, everything you need must fit on one screen without scrolling: the artifact, the pass checklist, and the gate card. If you need to scroll or switch windows to finish, you're inviting fragmentation. Shrink the view, close panels, or print the checklist. One screen tells your attentional system, this is the whole world, which reduces the urge to forage. Eighth guardrail, the 2 breaths, 1-click rule. When you feel the twitch to check just one more thing, take 2 slow breaths, say 1 task, and then either click the next checklist item or click publish. No third option. Binary choices cut through the limbic fog by giving your prefrontal cortex a clean fork, proceed or ship. Ninth guardrail, a daily scope cap. Set a maximum of 3 items you're allowed to put into the shipping tray per day. If a 4th shows up, it replaces one of the 3. This prevents the "I'll finish 15 things" fantasy that spreads your attention thin and feeds control addiction. 3 queued finishes is enough to build streaks without flooding your system. 10th guardrail, the after 3 it's free clause. If you've closed 3 loops today, any perfectionist itch that shows up on the 4th can be rescheduled to tomorrow by default. You earn the right to defer. This builds a positive association with shipping. You finish more, and your brain learns surplus energy goes to recovery, not to endless tinkering. Let me show you how these play together. You sit down in the last mile zone. 2. Question pass test. Presentation pass, export clean V1. 3. Touch rule. The thumbnail title is at T2, one more touch, then commit. 1. Screen finish, artifact center, checklist left, gate card right. You feel a what if we try a new color system thought, red flag list. 2 breaths, 1 click. You reach the gate, choose from 3, speak, chosen, and export. Loop closed. Sip, token, done. Guardrails don't kill creativity. They protect it from leaking into delay. Put them in place once, and they'll quietly keep you inside the lane so your best work makes it to the world. The weekly finish system. Plan, build, ship, review. This is the operating system that turns all the techniques you've learned into a repeatable week. 4 phases, same order, lightweight, and strict on closure. Plan, build, ship, review. Run it for 8 weeks and your nervous system will start finishing by default. Plan happens once on the same day and time each week. 10 to 15 minutes, no more. Open your shipping tray and pick no more than 3 items that are already 70–95% done. That cap matters. 3 is enough to create momentum without flooding your threat system. For each item, write a 1-line promise sentence. Help X do Y by Z, then assign an MVO, smallest complete artifact, and map the 3 passes: clarity, accuracy, presentation. Put each item into a specific day slot, 1 per day maximum, with a 20-minute last mile block reserved. Final step of plan. Stage your last mile zone checklist, gate cards, and token dish so you're never hunting when it's time to finish. You exit plan only after you say out loud, 3 ships scheduled, and drop 3 empty tokens beside the dish as placeholders. Those placeholders are a visual contract. Build is everything before the last mile. It's where you draft, research, and roughen pieces to get them to 70–80%. You can be flexible here, but keep it outside the last mile zone. The moment an item reaches 80%, move it physically or digitally into the shipping tray. That move is a safety signal. This piece is now on rails. Don't let build leak into ship. If you catch yourself polishing during build, write, hold for presentation pass, and step away. Your future self will thank you. Ship is the non-negotiable heart of the week. It runs on your 20-minute window, inside the last mile zone, with the 5-minute reset ready if needed. You pick 1 scheduled item, place it center screen, and speak the pass order once. Clarity, accuracy, presentation. Then you run the passes with the 2-question pass test anchoring attention and the 3-touch rule stopping drift. At each pass lock, use the finished ritual, signal, seal, celebrate, reset, and add a mark in your pass ledger. At minute 18, expect the spike. That's your cue to stand, shake, exhale, point, and click. If you hit a true blocker, accuracy evidence missing, not a feeling, you route to V1. Minus, and add the missing piece to V11 inversion forward. Your job in ship is not to discover new work, it's to close the loop you planned. Review is where you consolidate safety and improve the system without beating yourself up. Same day and time each week, 10 minutes, 1 page. Ask 4 questions, answer in 1 sentence each. What shipped? List live links only, not drafts. Drop 1 token per ship into the dish, then clear the placeholders. What stuck? Name the exact moment and the driver, safety, control, or identity, not a story. Paused at presentation gate, control wanted more options. What worked? Highlight the cue or constraint that helped. 1 screen finish kept me from tabbing. What changes next week? Pick 1 tiny adjustment. Prep 3 thumbnail options during build. Or move ship block to 10 a.m. when I'm freshest. End review by reading your last 3 promise sentences out loud. It grounds identity to impact and teaches your system that value, not image, is the scoreboard. Let me show you exactly how a week looks. Monday plan, you pick 3 items, a blog post at 85%, a tutorial at 80%, a client deck at 90%. Promise sentences go on top of each doc. You schedule ship blocks for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 10:30 a.m., set the 20-minute timers, and place 3 empty tokens beside the dish. Tuesday ship. You enter the last mile zone, run clarity, accuracy, presentation, and publish in 18 minutes. Signal shipped, sip tea, drop a token. Wednesday you hit a wobble at the presentation gate. You run the 5-minute reset, choose from the 3 prepped options, export, and ship. Thursday, the client deck lacks 1 verification. You route the claim to V11, ship the MVO, and log the follow-up task. Common snags, quick fixes. If you keep overloading plan, enforce the daily scope cap. 3 items maximum in the tray, period. If build bleeds into endless polish, move drafting sessions out of your ship hours and set a hard stop. If ship keeps slipping, tie it to a public queue, post a loop-closed update in your team channel only when the live link is available. If review turns into self-critique, read the shipped wall first. Evidence clears the fog. 2 advanced tweaks once the base loop feels smooth. Add a Friday buffer ship, a floating 20-minute slot for a 4th ship only if the first 3 locked, and set a micro MVO for streak days. If energy is low, ship a tiny artifact tied to a real promise, a 1-paragraph answer, a checklist, a template. The streak trains your basal ganglia to expect closure, which makes next week's plan easier. If you remember nothing else about the weekly finish system, remember the rhythm. Plan 3, build to 80, ship in 20, review in 10. Same days, same cues, same locks. You're not just managing tasks, you're teaching your nervous system that finishing is predictable, brief, and safe, and that safety no longer requires perfection. Rewriting perfectionist beliefs with evidence. Now we're going to dismantle the beliefs that keep the avoidance engine running, not by pep talks, but by testing them like a scientist. Every perfectionist thought is a prediction, not a fact. Predictions can be tested. When you test them in small, safe experiments, your brain updates its threat map. That's how you rewrite wiring, evidence over ego. Start with the most common belief. If it's not perfect, it will hurt my reputation. Let's translate that into a testable claim. Shipping an 80% version that meets the promise will reduce trust. Design a micro-experiment. Pick one small piece, say a 1-page checklist that hits your promise. Ship it to 5 real users. Ask 2 questions only. Did this help you do Y by Z? And what, if improved, would help more? Log the responses verbatim. If 3 out of 5 say it helped, your belief takes a hit. Your reputation didn't drop, it grew. The criticism you feared becomes upgrade fuel for V11. Your body learns, shipped and helpful is safer than stalled and invisible. Next belief, I need more time. Rushing creates mistakes. Hidden assumption, time equals accuracy. But Dr. Tracy Marks shows that errors often come from fragmented attention and incomplete closure, not speed. So we test a time-bounded, pass-based finish against an open-ended polish. Take 2 comparable tasks. For task A, give yourself a 20-minute last-mile window with clarity, accuracy, and presentation passes plus lock rituals. For task B, give yourself as long as it takes to polish. After shipping both, measure actual accuracy. Number of issues reported or self-found in a 24-hour check. Most people discover the time-bounded pass produces equal or fewer errors because working memory stays clean and closure is encoded. Evidence beats the feeling that more time equals more safety. Another sticky belief, I'll be judged if I miss edge cases. Translate it. If I don't cover every scenario now, people will think I'm careless. Create an evidence ledger with 3 columns. Promise fulfilled, edge cases identified post-ship, user sentiment. Ship your MVO and explicitly ask for edge cases in your call to action. When they arrive, thank the user, patch in V11 and note the tone. What you'll usually see, users appreciate responsiveness more than hypothetical completeness. The ledger teaches your identity system a new rule. Reliability after shipping counts more than preemptive perfection. And it calms the identity insurance reflex that keeps work in limbo. Here's a sneaky one. If I ship now, I'll regret it. That's not a belief, it's a prediction about future emotion. Test it with a regret check protocol. After you ship, set a 24-hour and a 7-day reminder to answer 2 questions. Do I regret shipping? And what did I learn that I couldn't have learned pre-ship? Track 10 ships. You'll likely see regret is rare and short-lived. Learning is frequent and specific. Your nervous system starts to expect post-ship clarity, another rung on the staircase. What about my best work comes when I push a little longer? Sometimes true, craft matters. So define best with a metric tied to your promise. If your outcome is reduce time to first click by 20%, run an A/B test, the 80% version versus your extra polished one. If the delta is small, your belief gets revised. Polish delights you more than it helps the user. You can still polish, just version it forward where it belongs. To keep this honest, you need a belief right arrow test, right arrow result loop you can run quickly. Use a simple template you read aloud before the last mile. Belief, state the scary sentence exactly as it appears in your head. Test, define the smallest action that would disconfirm it without blowing up risk. Result, write down what happened in numbers or quotes. Example, belief, if I publish with only 3 sources, I'll get called out. Test, accuracy pass with 2 cross-checks per critical claim, invite corrections in the description. Result, 1 typo fixed in V11, 2 comments thanking the clarity. New belief, inviting corrections increases trust. Your protection system quiets because it has a script for handling error. Okay, so the tricky part is catching beliefs mid-spiral. Use a red flag to test swap. When a red flag thought appears, this has to be the best thing I've done. You write it in your ledger, then immediately craft a test. Ship to 10 people. Ask if they could do Y by Z. You run the 5-minute reset, then you ship and collect data. The act of testing becomes your identity, not the person who's perfect, but the person who learns fast. 2 micro stories. A consultant delayed proposals until they were encyclopedias. We ran a test, 1-page proposal with clear scope and 2 options. Close rate rose. The belief shifted from more detail equals more trust to clarity equals more yes. A creator feared posting with a simple thumbnail. We tested 3 thumbnails across posts, 1 ornate, 2 simple. The simple one 1 click through twice. Belief updated, time redeployed to content. If you remember nothing else, remember this. Write the belief, shrink the test, log the result. Evidence rewires faster than affirmation. When your brain sees that 80% shipped creates more impact, more learning, and less pain than 100% stalled, perfectionism loses its job. The 10-day finish challenge. Let's turn all of this into a short, winnable sprint so your nervous system can bank 10 clean, finished is safe reps. It's simple, strict, and designed for tiny daily wins that rewire the last mile. 10 days, 10 ships, 15 to 20 minutes each. 1 artifact per day, each with a clear promise, a smallest complete slice, 3 quick passes, a 20-minute window, and a finished ritual. No heroics, no exceptions. Here's the daily template you'll use, out loud every day. Promise sentence, today's piece helps X do Y by Z. Success slice, name the smallest artifact a real person can use today. 3 passes, clarity, accuracy, presentation, 1 sweep each. 20-minute window, set the analog timer, expect the minute 18 surge. Finished ritual, signal, seal, celebrate, reset token in the dish, then version forward. Day 1, ship something tiny you've been avoiding. Example, a 1-paragraph email that unblocks a collaborator. Promise, help Alex choose between option A or B today. Success slice, a 3-sentence email with 1 clear question. 3 passes, then ship. Your job is a clean closure, not persuasion. Day 2, a checklist MVO. Promise, help me run a 5-step shutdown ritual. Success slice, a 1-page PDF with the steps and tiny checkboxes. Clarity, 1 verb per step. Accuracy, test it once. Presentation, legible font, export. Ship to yourself and 1 friend. Day 3, a micro tutorial. Promise, help a beginner anchor completion with point and confirm in under 3 minutes. Success slice, a 90-second voice-over demo. Cite Dr. Tracy Marks' method accurately. Ship with V1, core demo. V11, add captions. Day 4, the reply you've delayed. Promise, give clear next steps to a client in under 5 lines. Success slice, 5 lines, 1 link, 1 deadline. Clarity, accuracy, presentation, ship. Celebrate with your micro reward. Notice the drop in noise. Day 5, a template. Promise, help me run the 3 passes on any task. Success slice, a 1-page pass checklist with lock phrases. Ship to your future self, print it and put it in the last mile zone. Day 6, a tiny public post. Promise, help creators finish with a 5-step shutdown ritual. Success slice, 1 post with the 5 steps and a single graphic. Accuracy, reference Dr. Sid Warrior's action right arrow motivation line in your caption. Presentation, clean thumbnail text. Ship. Day 7, a user value micro fix. Promise, reduce friction on my landing page by making the CTA unmissable. Success slice, swap headline to the promise sentence, clarify 1 CTA. 3 touches max, then ship. Version forward notes extra ideas. Day 8, a decision gate card. Promise, help me choose thumbnails in 60 seconds. Success slice, A card with 3 questions, 3 options, 1 choice slot. Print it and put it at your desk. It's shipped when it's on the desk. Day 9, a teach your future self note. Promise, help me run the 5-minute reset when spiraling. Success slice, a 1-page script with the 5 moves. Clarity, verb first lines. Accuracy, matches the method. Presentation, big type, tape it up. Ship by taking a photo and saving it to your phone favorites. Day 10, a capstone MVO tied to someone real. Promise, help one named person do Y by Z today. Success slice, a small artifact they can use now, checklist, snippet, or mini video. Run the full window, perform the finished ritual, and deliver to that person directly. Rules that keep this clean. 1 ship per day only. More is leaking, less is breaking the streak. Everything lives in the shipping tray until shipped. If you move it in, you're committing. If you hit minute 18 and feel the surge, stand, exhale, point, click. No new ideas. If you encounter a true accuracy blocker, route it to V11, ship the MVO, and schedule the patch. How to track progress. Pass ledger, 1 line per day with time and pass locks. Token dish, drop 1 token after each ship. Keep 3 placeholders out until filled. Shipped wall, add the 10 links or images. Let the wall argue with your doubt. What to expect. Days 1-3 feel awkward. Your body's learning the cues. Days 4-7 feel smoother. The last mile zone starts to do the work. Days 8-10 feel lighter. The surge shows up, but it fades faster after the click. At the end, run a 2-minute review. What shipped? Read the 10 aloud. What stuck? Label the driver. Safety, control, identity. What worked? Name the 1 cue you'll keep. What changes? Pick 1 tweak for your weekly finish system. 10 days from now, your brain won't love perfect. It'll crave loop closed. That's the point. Common pitfalls and how to fix them fast. Pitfall 1, last-minute genius. You wait for the deadline because pressure makes you perform. What's really happening is your threat system floods you with adrenaline so you finally act, but you teach your brain that danger is required to finish. Fix it fast by manufacturing safe pressure earlier. Schedule a 20-minute ship window with a public micro-commitment. Send a calendar invite to yourself titled Loop Closed by 10:50 and drop a placeholder token before you start. Your body gets a countdown, your ritual provides closure, and you break the danger finish link without burning your system. Pitfall 2, research loops that masquerade as diligence. You're just checking one more source, but your working memory fractures and the pass never locks. The fast fix is evidence only edits during the accuracy pass. If the evidence isn't on the same screen, you leave a cue, note, and move on. Pair it with the 1-screen finish so your eyes don't wander. If a claim truly needs verification, route it to V11 in version forward. You preserve integrity without reopening the pass. Pitfall 3, option hoarding at decision gates. You keep generating thumbnails, titles, or layouts because more choices feel safer. They're not, they're heavier. Fix it with 3 prepped options and a 60-second decision gate. When you hit the gate, set a 1-minute analog timer, read your 3 gate questions, pick one of the 3 options, speak, chosen, and move. The timer plus scarcity gives your prefrontal cortex a clean fork and shuts down the limbic more reflex. Pitfall 4, identity hijack. You start grading the work by how smart it makes you look instead of whether it helps the user. The fast reset is the promise sentence read aloud before the last pass. This helps X do Y by Z today. Then ask only, does this deliver Y by Z? If yes, ship. If no, adjust inside the pass you're in. This moves meaning from impression to impact and calms the self story enough to finish. Pitfall 5, late stage, brilliant ideas. Your brain throws sparkle bombs right before publish. They're usually control in disguise. Use the 10% rule. If the idea directly raises the odds that X does Y by Z today, allow up to 10% more time and time box it. Otherwise, park it in version forward. Speak it out loud, V1, 1 adds X. So your system feels you didn't abandon improvement, you sequenced it. Pitfall 6, over-editing a single element. The headline is on touch 6 and you're still nudging. Invoke the 3-touch rule. Mark it T3, commit or cut, then perform the finished ritual. Pass complete, tap, sip, token. Your basal ganglia needs the physical seal to stop pinging you to reopen that loop. Pitfall 7, perfectionist procrastination disguised as planning. You keep reorganizing tasks and color coding boards. Planning is complete when 3 ships are scheduled with MVOs and ship windows. If you catch yourself tinkering, run the 5-minute reset, then execute 1 micro finish inside a 2-minute timer. Action restores signal. Planning resumes after a ship. Pitfall 8, post-publish panic. You click send and your body surges. Don't yank the piece back. Orient, window, lamp, door, shake hands, 1 long exhale, then read your version forward note. V11 tomorrow. Your system needs a next rung. Write a 1-line follow-up task, then step away. The nervous spike fades faster when there's a scheduled route, not rumination. Pitfall 9, team swirl. Feedback comes in at random, so you keep reopening the artifact. Fix with a feedback gate. You accept notes only at 2 points, after clarity, after V1. You ignore drive-by edits mid-pass. You log them and route to the gate. Combine with a shared shipped column that links live artifacts only. Linking replaces screenshots, which ends almost debates. Pitfall 10, energy dips that stall the last mile. You try to think your way into momentum. Don't. Movement triggers dopamine. Stand, walk 10 steps, shake your hands, 2 box breaths, then run the next micro finish. If you can't choose, use the 2-question pass test. Which pass am I in? What's the single outcome? Say it, point, click. The smallest win is enough to re-enter the sequence. Pitfall 11, messy environment that invites drift. Files everywhere, 9 apps open, notifications popping. Fix with finish mode on a physical switch. Blue desk light on, phone in another room, 1 app, 1 checklist, analog timer at 20. Your midbrain learns, blue light means we close loops. It's a cheap, reliable state cue. Pitfall 12, I'll do it later self-forgiveness that becomes avoidance. Use the after 3, it's free clause properly. You can defer only after 3 loops close today. If you're at 0, you owe 1 micro MVO, a 2-sentence email, a 1-page checklist, a tiny update. Ship 1 thing, drop 1 token, then you can defer guilt-free. This keeps compassion from becoming a loophole. If you remember nothing else, remember this triage. Name the pass, shrink the decision, seal the loop. When in doubt, run the 5-minute reset, choose from 3, and perform the finished ritual. Fast fixes work because they give your brain fewer, clearer instructions, so finishing stops being a fight and starts being a reflex. 1 principle, progress over protection. If you strip everything we've done down to 1 rule, it's this: choose progress over protection. Protection is your brain's default. Avoid pain, avoid judgment, avoid uncertainty. Progress is a trained response. Ship a smaller promise, learn, iterate. When decisions get noisy, ask 1 question out loud. Does this move deliver value now or defend my image? If it delivers value, it's progress. If it defends image, it's protection. Why this matters? Your nervous system tags experiences as safe or unsafe. Every time you delay for polish, you teach your system that finishing is dangerous and tweaking is safety. Every time you ship an MVO, lock a pass, run the finished ritual, and version forward, you flip that tag. Finishing becomes familiar. Familiar becomes safe. Safe becomes easy. So, how do you apply progress over protection in the last mile? Use a 3-step fork. Clarify the promise. Speak it. Help X do Y by Z today. That's your compass. If the next action doesn't raise the odds of Y by Z right now, park it in V11. Constrain the path. Name the pass you're in and run the 2-question pass test. Then use decision gates and 3 options max. Scarcity calms the limbic urge to keep hunting. Close the loop. Perform point and confirm, speak the lock, and run your finished ritual. Token in the dish. Version forward. Step away. Now here's where most people mess up. They think progress means lowering standards. It doesn't. It means sequencing standards. Accuracy thresholds stay tied to real-world risk. Craft still matters, it just lives in V11 and beyond. You're not saying good enough forever. You're saying good enough to help someone today, then better tomorrow. If you feel the spike, run the 5-minute reset. Orient, breathe, name 1 micro finish, point and confirm, lock and route forward. The reset is how you trade panic for pattern. When that becomes reflex, protection loses its leverage. 1 sentence to keep on your desk. Value shipped beats virtue signaled. Your future self and your users only get paid by finished work, not defended drafts. Choose progress. The core idea is simple. Design your work so finishing is small, safe, and repeatable. Then reward closure until your brain prefers loop closed over one more tweak. If you want me to walk you through this with live examples and real-time locks, subscribe and watch the next video on building your last mile zone. Drop loop closed in the comments after your next ship. Now go finish one small promise today.